When we talk about language strategies, we're talking about things that we can do with ourselves to make learning language easier for the child. This includes getting down on the child's level and playing with them, face to face. Labelling and commenting what it is they're looking at and what it is they're playing with in the moment. Reducing your questions and offering choices to give your child a model of language. We also say to give your child time to respond to your prompts or questions. Giving time feels very unnatural, and we tell parents to count to 5 in their heads when waiting for a response from their child. As well as language strategies, we also use visual supports to help children learn language. These include objects of reference, visual timetables, first and then boards, and behaviour cards. We also use things known as snack mats, which help children when requesting for snacks in a setting. Another form of visual support that we use is PECS. This stands for the Picture Exchange Communication System. PECS is used to help children communicate and involves using a picture to request for an item that they want. When implementing PECS, it's important that your speech and language therapist has put you forward for this programme, as it is not something you should try to implement without their guidance. Makaton signing is also a form of visual support that we use. Looking in more detail at language strategies, we can take them apart and see why they actually work. The first one that we look at is playing at your child's level. When you're playing with your child, the way that you sit has a massive influence on what they can take in. We ask parents to get down on the floor if they are able, to position themselves in front of their child. This opens up your face for your child to see your smile and to also learn how to use eye contact. It gives you the opportunity as well to see what they're focusing on. When you're using the language strategies and you're giving your child words, it's important that you're following their attention. Children will learn the words of things that they are really wanting or that they are really interested in the moment. When we talk about labelling and commenting, this is like a running commentary of what your child is doing at the time. Again, bearing in mind that your child's understanding level might be lower, so you need to keep your language simple. For example, if your child is sat on the floor playing with a car track, you can label it saying, car, 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 car go down, 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 down. Playing with your child should be fun, and it gives you time to repeat lots of language over and over and over again. This is how children learn. We also tell parents to reduce their questions. It's completely natural as a parent to want to ask your child, what is this? Can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? But this actually increases the anxiety for a child. If a child is finding it hard to communicate, by asking them questions, you are making their anxiety levels higher. So instead of asking questions, we try offering choices. For example, if you're wanting to know if they want a drink, you can ask them, would you like apple or orange? And when you show them the apple juice and the orange juice, label as you show the correct item. This way the child will be looking at the items whilst you provide the word, mapping that language onto the world around them. You can also reduce your questions by using a prompt instead. For example, if you're looking at a picture book with your child, instead of asking, what is it, when pointing to the animals, you can provide a prompt by saying, oh, it's a, and leaving a gap. In that gap, you may find that your child makes a vocalisation, makes an animal noise, glances at you, or even points at the book. These are all forms of communication, even if it's not the actual spoken word. At this point, you can model the word for your child. That's right, it's a cat, cat. And it will give you a chance to repeat this word again, so the child hears it and again maps it onto the world around them. The final language strategy that we look at is giving time. This is one of the most unnatural things to do when you're talking to someone, but it's important to understand that for all children, their processing time with language is slower than with that of an adult. If you're asking your child a choice, such as, would you like apple juice or blackcurrant juice, you need to try counting to 5 in your head. It feels extremely unnatural, but in this gap, the child is processing and deciding how to communicate with you. Again, they may not use the spoken word with you. They may point, position themselves slightly differently, move towards the wanted item. At this point, you can relabel what they have chosen. For example, do you want apple juice or blackcurrant juice? You want apple juice, and then giving the child the apple juice. Let's take a look at these strategies in action.
I have some. Do you want these? Marcus is very loving and very affectionate. We were blessed with him, and he is on the autism spectrum. I'm Renee Dunn. Marcus, look. I'm Marcus's grandmother. Look. Car? You have a car? He likes playing by himself, and whenever you would sit down with him, he would kind of move away. It's not the game. And he is getting very, very frustrated not being able to communicate. Look, Marcus.
His grandmother watches him while his parents work. When I first started working with Marcus, he was not talking, not saying any words. He had lots of babbling. He wasn't very interested in playing with others. I'm Jenny Sharpless. I'm a speech-language pathologist here at the Kennedy Krieger Center for Autism and Related Disorders. The number one strategy we're going to work on today is just tuning in to what he's interested in and imitating him. So show me how you normally play at home.
Okay, the first thing we would do is we would take them out. Now, if he didn't immediately take something, then I'd give him something. There you go. Very good, Marcus. Very good.
Great, so he was really good at that puzzle.
Yes.
But the one thing that I noticed is that he's playing and you're watching.
Yes.
I want you to be able to be his play partner. So what was he doing with this puzzle?
He was picking up each piece and putting it in.
Yeah. So
So-
then you will take your turn and do
So
what?
let him do one and then I'll do one.
Yes.
Which we do. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put one in. Two? Now you put one in.
Already the look of your play has changed. You were playing together. It looked like you were taking turns. It already looked more fun. One thing is we talked about not asking a lot of questions, not using a lot of generic type language, but looking at a toy and thinking about what's the most important vocabulary we can pick out from this toy. It's just looking at this simple puzzle. What are some vocabulary words that come to mind?
Colors as opposed to shapes. Or if colors were too difficult, I would count because he loves numbers.
Also, we can think of the action words. We put in and we take out.
You want to put it in? Which one? One. Can I do one? Two. So 1, 2. Go ahead. What number is that? 3.
As soon as we simplified her language, she joined him in play. He stuck with her longer and he started saying words, which was amazing. Has he ever seen this toy before?
No.
So he's figuring out that the balls can go in the holes. So thinking about the imitate strategy we did with the puzzle, what would you do to join in with his play? Now let me offer one suggestion. Come around and be more face to face with him.
Okay. Be on this side. So now,
Already it changes the look of your play. It looks like you're playing with him rather than
True.
just watching him.
true. So now I could take this ball. So we think it has to be something so difficult, and we have to have all this education about autism to work with them. Ready, set, go! Actually, I've learned here with Jenny that it's just the little simple things that you do and simplify the way you think about playing with them that really helps them the most. Can I have a card? Please?
So make sure you have your own. When you imitate him, you don't want to have to take his toy because it's not about turn taking, it's about really imitating. Car! What are you going to do now that you have your own car?
I'm going to try to play along with him. Ready, set, go!
Go! And look, he is enjoying this so much. You're getting such nice eye contact.
Go!
He's smiling at you. The next thing I want you to think about is your language. So we already know go is a word because he's saying it. Go! But what other words do you think can you think about with this toy?
Car.
Good. Renee, like lots of parents, want to teach their child something new. That's where we get the next part of the strategy, the expand part. But we can think about expanding on our language a little bit and saying car go or go car.
So to hear him say we because he was excited or go because he knew it was time for the car to go down the ramp, it's wonderful.
This bus does exactly what he likes to do. He likes to put things in or on. So we can show him this toy. So make sure your positioning is also on your mind. When you're in this type of position, he can make eye contact with you easier. He can share smiles with you easier.
Off. Off.
You know, especially in this era of technology, there's less emphasis on toys and just good old-fashioned play.
Being in there and taking my turn, and it lets him have fun with it. Thank you.
Join in, do what they're doing, see what they're doing, and it definitely works.
So now I can just play with him and he'll enjoy it, and we'll still be learning. Ready, set, go!
Makaton signing. Makaton is the use of signs alongside spoken language. It's important to remember that Makaton isn't British Sign Language. British Sign Language has its own grammatical rules, whereas Makaton is a sign used alongside a spoken word to represent that. A lot of the time, Makaton signs look like the word they are representing. For example, the word cat is signed cat. It's also important to remember that when using Makaton, you always use it with a spoken word. Using Makaton is beneficial to children who are learning language because it gives them a visual support alongside spoken words. It decreases their frustration and it allows a child who hasn't got any spoken language to express what they want or how they feel to somebody else they are with. When using Makaton signs, you do not need to sign every single word. For example, if you've given your child a choice of juice or milk and your child's chosen milk, you can just sign milk. You want milk. Good asking. Doing this allows you to incorporate all of your language strategies together as well. You can use some repetition and say milk several times, as well as giving the visual support. When we come out and work with your child, we may use one of the programs from our speech therapy toolbox. These include intensive interaction, curiosity program, and attention autism. Intensive interaction. This approach teaches your child to enjoy being with another person. It's about getting down onto your child's level and imitating and copying what they are doing. This could be sounds they are making, things they are doing with their body, or simply just being at one with that child. Intensive interaction doesn't have the goal of spoken language. The goal of intensive interaction is for a child to enjoy being with another person, to enjoy being with an adult, and to get the confidence to know that when they do something, their needs can be met by the adult. It's completely child-led, and by doing this, we build lovely relationships with many children. In this video, we have an example of intensive interaction. Throughout the video, you can see how the adult approaches the child, the points in which they initiate, when they imitate, and when they also take time to let the child recuperate and reinitiate another interaction.
So, hello again, Sasha and Rihanna. Video 3, and I think we can see straight away that over a period of a few months, Sasha's really making progress. We can see how much more participative he is in the activity, how much more confident he is, how much more detailed knowledge he's got about how to take part in this lovely activity. And I think at times we can see him knowing that he's in the lead and taking Rihanna along with him through the processes of the activity. And then surely radiantly we can also see one of the main lovely things about doing intensive interaction and being an intensive interaction practitioner, if you like. And for me it was one of the best times in all of my working life as a teacher when I realised gradually, as we were developing intensive interaction, that you could be doing the most serious, the most special and critical teaching for the learner, but it could be huge fun. And I think Rihanna, like me, she shares the view. Teaching and learning should be like that. And we can see Rihanna once again clearly demonstrating main style with intensive interaction. She doesn't do too much. She's holding back. She's letting Sasha be in the lead. She's constantly watching him. She's tuned into him to pick up on his behaviour, and she constructs the content and the flow by responding to Sasha. The main response that you see is a kind of imitation, copying, joining in, and that makes her behaviour really meaningful for Sasha. He can recognise it, he understands it, it's meaningful and enjoyable for him. And then of course you can also see Rihanna's preparedness to pause when Sasha goes into a lull, needs a little bit of a rest, removes attention. And of course, as I've said, her preparedness to absolutely have her own fun and transmit that enormous enjoyment to Sasha. Communication is wonderful and enjoyable, and learning to be a communicator is and should be wonderful and enjoyable.
Curiosity Programme again uses lots of our language strategies together to create a shared sense of fun with the child. Curiosity Programme is a method where we put toys into plastic containers so the child can't actually get to them. The aim of Curiosity Programme is to get the child to give you the box so that you can get the toy out for them to explore. Once the toy is out, it's for you and the child to explore and play together. Curiosity Programme is a shared experience of fun with another person, and it allows your child to be curious, to explore play, and to find new ways of playing with toys that they might have already played with before. The Curiosity Programme also works to develop those early joint attention skills, which are crucial when learning language. Again, the Curiosity Programme, the goal is not always spoken language, but to just enjoy being with another person. In this next video, you can see Curiosity Programme being used with a child, and you can see language strategies and the way that they are used together with the programme.
Oh, Oscar, I've got a box. Shall we look inside? Lid off. Oh, a mirror. Oh, let's put our mirror on the floor. Uh-oh. And I've got some boxes. Toys in them. Boxes. Oh, sitting, good boy. Can you choose a box? Oh, open.
What is that?
Helen, open.
What is it?
A balloon. Balloon. Blowing balloons. Ready, steady, go! Oh! Do some more.
Yeah.
Mummy blow, Oscar blow.
But I want you to tighten.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. Pull, 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 pull. Oh, flick, flick. Ready, the big blow.
Blowing balloon.
Oscar, let go.
No,
Ready,
I'm
Oscar,
tightening
hold.
up.
Squeak! What are you? Oh! Oh! Balloon away. Ooh. Choosing. Shall I open? Open.
Sure.
Oh, sitting. Scarves. Blue scarf. Red scarf. On face. Blow. Oscar's face. Blowing. Ready? Falling. Oh, what about throwing? Throwing. Scarves. Oscar scrunching. Scrunching. Finished. Gone. Attention Autism creates opportunities for communication with children that are based around fun, play and exploration. Attention Autism comes in 4 stages and it starts with something known as the bucket. The bucket is a time for a child to learn how to sustain their attention and how to watch an activity. The stages work through with your child's attention skills. The goal of Attention Autism is to help a child's attention and listening skills. For the first 2 stages, the child isn't allowed to actually join in with the activity that's taking place in front of them. And then by the time they reach the 3rd stage, we are looking at helping children shift and maintain their attention. Attention Autism is completely play-based and it's very motivating. Attention Autism requires a number of adults to help facilitate this programme. We are now going to show a video of Attention Autism in action. We are only showing the first 2 stages. These are known as the bucket time and the attention builder stage. These are crucial for a child to learn and develop their joint attention skills. Everybody sitting. Boys, well done, sitting. Stop. Bye-bye, Dracula. Bye-bye. Right. Today, we're going to... This is our bucket.
That just looks like a bucket.
Bucket time. And then we're going to...
What is that? What is it now?
Cake smash.
Cake smash. Okay.
Yes. Bucket time.
Bucket time.
Shake, And let's have a look what's in my bucket, in my bucket, in my bucket. Let's have a look what's in my bucket. Let's have a peep inside. Oh, lid off. Oh, a light spinner. Good talking, Oscar. Well done. On. Light. Spin, spin, spin. Light. Stop. Oh, you want it to sing. Ready, steady, go. Ooh. Ooh. Stop. Light spinner finished. Oh, there's still things in there. Shall we sing the song again? Ready? Let's have a look what's in my bucket, in my bucket, in my bucket. Let's have a look what's in my bucket. Let's have a look inside. Oh, sit in. Oh, bubbles. Bubbles. Open. Blow. Good boy. Blowing. Bubbles. Pop, pop. Do some more. Ready, steady, go! Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop. Bubbles finished. In bucket. Gone. Bucket finished. So, bucket finished. Cake smash. Let's have one plate.
And 2 plates.
2 plates.
3 plates.
3 plates.
4.
Ooh.
What is that?
Foam.
Phone.
Lid off.
Phone.
Shake, 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 shake. Oh.
Phone. What is the
Hmm.
phone?
Oh, squirt, squirt, squirt. Oh. A cake. 1 cake. Oh. 2 cakes.
More.
3 cakes. Oh. I think they look a bit white. Glitter. Blue glitter. Lid off.
There isn't any glitter on the
Oh,
plate.
I can't get the lid off. Ready, steady. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle.
That's
Blue glitter.
glitter.
Red glitter. Good talking, Oscar. Let's get the lid off. Red glitter. Red glitter. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Red glitter. Green glitter. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Green glitter. Now what's in my bag? Smash. You have to stay sitting. Smash. Oh, it didn't happen. Oh, flat. Oh, ready, steady, flat. Oh, Ready, steady, flat. Oh! 3 cakes. Smashed! Smashed! Oh, cake smash. Finished. Tidy up. Tidy. Cake smash is finished. Stage 3, turn taking, and Stage 4, independent work, take a long time to work towards as they require a lot of attention skills and being able to shift and maintain that attention. As well as language strategies, we also use visual supports to help with children's learning language. Visual supports come in all shapes and sizes, but we are going to focus on a few of the ones we use most regularly. These are objects of reference, visual timetables, visual behaviour support, which includes weight cards, first and then cards, and then PECS, Picture Exchange Communication System. As discussed before, PECS needs to be implemented by your speech and language therapist, but we will look briefly at it in this presentation. Let's take a look at a video explaining visual supports and how they work in the environment and how they help you to communicate.
Some children find it hard to focus just on what they're hearing, and they need a visual picture to help their understanding. Pictures and symbols can give extra clues to support what is being said. These visual supports are all around us. Think about the signs you see in the streets and in the shops and in the buildings. They all help to provide information, point the way, and inform us about the world in which we live. Where language is a barrier, pictures help. It is the same for children who find listening to language or understanding language difficult. So here are a few ways in which pictures can help your child. Time is a very difficult concept for some children to understand. If they can actually see when it is time for an event or activity to begin or finish, this can help them understand and reduce their anxiety. Sand timers of 1, 3 and 5 minutes can be used to show how long an activity will last. Place the sand timer next to the activity, for example the computer, and say, when all the sand has reached the bottom, the computer will be turned off. You can support children in making choices by having a simple board of pictures representing activities or foods that are available.
Do you want grapes, yoghurt or crisps?
Crisps, please.
Crisps, please. Okay, good choice.
It can be difficult for children to understand or remember what is going to happen, and this is especially true when they may be anxious or if they have a short attention span. So showing them what is happening in pictures can be a good way to explain what will happen when listening may be difficult. We are going to use a simple board showing what will happen now and next.
So we've finished the dollies. Should we take that one off? And next we've got drawing next. Fantastic.
Visual timetables are the next step on from using the now and next board. Once your child is comfortable with following now and next, you could try using 3 or 4 pictures on a timetable to show your child the events happening that day. This technique reduces a child's anxiety if he has a problem imagining or remembering what will happen next. We are using ours outside while playing in the garden.
Oh, got you, well done. Shall I show you?
Yeah.
So we've had lunch, so that's finished.
Yeah.
And now we've come outside and we're going to play with the ball and some games.
And sweets.
And then at the end it's sweets time. Okay?
We are not always able to pre-prepare a visual plan for an event that is going to happen. In these situations, you can use a piece of paper and quickly draw out the steps involved in the new event to help your child understand what will happen. If the child we were working with was a little older, we would involve them in drawing or writing out what will happen together.
Oh, you're very good at drawing, girls. And then the last thing we're going to do is get in the car to go home. Brilliant drawing. Excellent. Okay, there you go. Can you tick that one off for me?
Notice how they ticked off each step as it was completed.
Brilliant. So what do we have to do next?
Tidy up.
Tidy up. So should we put everything?
We hope these ideas have been helpful and that you feel confident to try them with your child at home, while going out or in school.
When introducing visual supports, it's important that we know what your child's understanding level is. For example, if we're trying to use a visual support for the toilet, would they understand a generic toilet symbol? Or would they need a photograph of their own particular toilet? Or would they need an object to represent the toilet, such as a nappy or toilet roll? When we introduce visual supports, your speech and language therapist will assess your child's understanding, so we go in at the right level and that the visual supports are then functional for your child. Visual supports are implemented in stages. The first stage is to use a real-life object of something to represent an activity or an action. We then move on to photographs that will represent that activity or the action instead. The final stage is when a child can use a generic symbol to understand an action or an object. It is at this point that a child is at the point of generalisation in their development. At the point of generalisation, we can look at implementing PECs. Again, as discussed before, PECs needs to be implemented by your speech and language therapist and should not be attempted by yourselves unless you have your speech and language therapist's approval and guidance. Visual supports help your child understanding. They also help support your child's expression. In turn, this can help with their behaviour and also promotes their own personal independence. Let's look at some visual supports more closely. The first one, as we've discussed, is objects of reference. This is where we use objects to represent an activity in the child's day. For example, a fork can be used to represent lunchtime. A nappy can be used to represent nappy time or nappy change or toilet. A glue stick can be used to represent activity time. As the child works through their day, they can see what's coming next and what they have done. When the child completes an activity, it can be removed from the timetable and put into the finish pouch below. By using things such as objects of reference, you reduce any sort of ambiguity in the child's day. They are confident in what is coming, and this in turn helps support their behaviour. When the child is able to understand photographs or generic symbols, we can then move on to a visual timetable. The visual timetable is made up of pictures that symbolise each activity in the child's day. And much like objects of reference, they show what is happening throughout the day for the child. This reduces their anxiety and can promote good behaviour and independence. You introduce a visual timetable by talking about each symbol in turn at the start of the day or the start of the session. Then, when the activity is finished, you can talk about how it is finished and model that going into the finish pouch. The child will quickly learn that they can work through the visual timetable and remove the pictures when they are finished, and it shows the end of the activity. We also use visual behaviour support. A wait card is a small blue card that can be given to the child when they are waiting for something that they require. This is a physical prompt so that the child has something tangible to touch whilst they are waiting. Waiting is something that's quite difficult to understand for a child. It's just a period of time, so when they have something to hold with the symbol of what they are waiting for on, they will be able to see that they are waiting. This can help a child's behaviour and also assist in them learning how time works. We also use choice boards. This is to give the child a choice of 2 activities, or a choice of emotions, or a choice in what they may want to eat. We also use first and then boards. A first and then board assists a child in waiting for something that they really want, a bit like the wait card. But with first and then, you can use it to get a behaviour that you desire. For example, if your child really wants to turn on the iPad, but you need them to put their shoes on, you would put shoes on the first section and iPad on the then section. So you would say first shoes, then iPad.
This way, the child is doing something that you want them to do in return for a rewarding activity. The snack mat is used in a lot of settings to help children choose what they want at snack time. It is used by the child and they point to what they want. There can be a selection of different foods on there as well as different drinks. We also work with the words more and finished to allow the child some independence when you're having their snack. We can also use a child's specific interest to introduce rule cards. These can help if there are things in the room that you don't want the child to do, such as no touching the light switches. Or if your child does something good, we can use people like Buzz Lightyear saying good looking or good watching, so that they are getting some positive reinforcement through the visual support. We can also introduce routine strips into areas of the education setting as well as home. The toileting strip is a very useful one, and when they go into the toilet, it's there on the wall and helps them move through the process of going to the toilet successfully. Again, this promotes your child's independence, and in turn, if your child's feeling more independent, you may see less angry behaviour from them as they are confident in making routines work for them. We have discussed PECS a number of times throughout the presentation. We now have a short video for you to see PECS in action. PECS stands for Picture Exchange Communication System, and it's about exchanging a picture for something that the child wants. As we've said previously, it's really important that you don't try and implement PECS on your own and you wait for the guidance of your speech and language therapist.
Sweeties. Sweeties. Sweet! Stanley, sweet. Nom nom nom. Hello, sweeties. Sweet! Sweet, good boy. Sweetie. Sweeties. Two sweeties, three sweeties. Sweeties. Sweet! Good boy, Stanley. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Sweet! Sweetie. Sweet! Good boy, well done, sweeties. Sweeties. One sweetie, two sweeties, three sweeties, four sweeties, five sweeties. 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 One sweetie, two sweeties, three sweeties. Sweeties. Sweet. Sweet. Good boy.
Apps are a great thing that we can use these days. There are many apps out there that you can use with your child that put visual supports onto your phone. It makes them more accessible and easier to edit in times when you might want to change some of the photos that are used. We've put lots of links on the workshop page for you to have a look at and have a see whether or not there are any apps that you think would be useful for yourselves to use. We have a range of visual supports that we can send out to you. These include the visual timetable, a first and then board, a choice board, and a snack mat. There is also information on there about language strategies for you to have a look at. If you would be interested in receiving one of these packs, please fill in the form on the workshop page.